was such an unbelievable event, and everything that happened on the news, you just watched it, and I had no reason to not believe what I was being told by the news.
I believe this is happening.
We have a very tragic alert for you right now. An incredible plane crash into the World Trade Center here at the lower tip of Manhattan.
It's believed a 737 has crashed into. There's speculation at this point, but at least 3 floors taken out, crashed into the side of the building. Joining us right now.
I had remembered that there were other buildings that fell that day, but I didn't remember anything really about that. Years passed, and somebody posted something on social media about World Trade Center Building 7. It just hit me with my background. I have a degree in architectural engineering, and I may not be doing structural engineering right now, but what really hit me is that when you watch that building fall, there was no resistance, and it failed in a symmetrical fashion. But then to watch what happened to World Trade Center Building 7, where the entire building falls just like the ones you see in a controlled demolition. But when I saw that building fall, then I looked at the other buildings, and those don't make sense either. You look at what happened after 9/11, and the first thing they did was implement the Patriot Act.
I have spoken to the Vice President, to the Governor of New York, to the Director of the FBI, and have ordered that the full resources of the federal government go to help the victims and their families, and to conduct a full-scale investigation to hunt down and to find those folks who committed this act.
It gave the government a huge amount of power. George Bush developed the biggest bureaucracy in the history of the world as far as military goes in Homeland Security, where he combined all these different branches together into one giant thing. There was a group of people that put together some documents back in the late 90s. It's a group called the Project for a New American Century. They talked about the rise of China, the rise of other powers in the world, and to keep the United States the most powerful country in the world, we would have to go and fight all these simultaneous wars in places like Iraq and Afghanistan, and it basically lists all of the countries that we seem to have gone and bombed since 9/11. If I could have anybody explain to me on 9/11 how Building 7 fell down, and Building 7 never got hit by an airplane, but if they could explain to me how it fell down in a way that actually makes sense, then I would definitely change my mind. Things that don't make sense are like the Pentagon, which is the most secure building in the world, and that gets hit long after the 2 towers get hit. And there should have been planes to defend everything like that. And supposedly some jet airliner flies in there, and when you listen to pilots, flying at that speed, that close to the ground, would be impossible to control the plane, if the wings even stayed on the plane. There's so many things that don't add up. I am going to keep looking for the answer because I just don't believe it, and the government that we all want to trust, I just don't trust right now. I would just say that if you look down the rabbit hole, and there's a lot of people, most people I talk to don't want to look down the rabbit hole. I did, and it's something I want to see what's down there. And I don't know if I'll ever find it or not, but I'm going to keep looking because until I find stuff that makes sense, it just doesn't. I don't know. I want to be able to trust our government, trust who's in power. I want to be able to trust the media, and right now I don't trust any of them. But if somebody could explain to me how it makes sense, I would be more than willing to change my mind. But I've never seen that yet.